Hello and welcome to everyone to the Web Elements series episode 9. Today you would be learning to create a slider background color changer. You would be wondering that was the topic for the previous episode. Now I am recreating it but with a twist. Last time we were defining that which colors are possible with the hex codes, etc. This time I am creating it in a RGBA system so that we can mix we can create millions of colors with just those RGBA values, which we can manually shift to whatever we need. And this is an example that what it would look like. Currently I have set the R value to 255, which is the highest possible one. As we decrease it, we move towards the black color. We can also add green color. Suppose we need pink color. So we can simply take it to last. And here's the pink color. And now, if we need light pink or some other color like that, we can simply drag the value of A. And here it is. We can also add green color to create a newer color, which is quite a lot white-like. Because whenever all these colors would go to the end, it will form white color. And even if all of them, or in no matter where they are, if we take the A to last, then it is simply white color. So let's teach you how to create this. I will begin with creating not a folder this time. I mean, not a file. First, a folder would be found this time. So, episode 9. And now in it, we will create the index9.html. I would first create all the files. So, next is style9.css. And the last is script9.js. Let's give all of them equal spaces. And now close the sidebar. That's a habit for me. Now we link the CSS file and JavaScript file with the HTML file. So first link, and we'll write the name of the CSS file, which is style9.css. Now we'll write script. As to link script, as to link JavaScript, we need to use a script tag. We can also write the JavaScript inside these script tags. There is no such system that it won't work, but I prefer to use external files. So we'll write script9.js. We would also change the name in the title bar. I would just name it. I would just write in all caps, slider background, color changer, RGBA, close. I can show you that does it look the same way. Save the file. And now we can simply refresh, and episode 9 index9.html. As you can see, the name is now slider background color changer RGB as specified in all caps. Now we'll start with creating a div with the name contents. This is simply a modified code of the last episode. Make sure to check it also out because it is like the basic episode for this one. Now we'll create another div with the name of the class color code. I by mistake put is equal to, I need to put hyphen. So here it is. Now we also need to add the ID. So I will name it the same color code. And here we'll write RGBA 0 comma 0, comma 0, comma 1. This is simply the hex code. I mean, not the hex code, the RGBA value for black. And I have a preference for black, so here it is. Now we need to create 4 divs, which can simply be done by this emit abbreviation method. Just write a div multiplied, which is the asterisk symbol, and 4. And enter, we have the 4 divs. Now I'll tell you one more shortcut that is really helpful whenever doing web programming in VS Code. So it is Control, Alt, and arrow keys. So we can simply edit multiple lines at once. Although they'll always have the same content. You can't write different content whenever using this method. I will not specify the class name because each of them will have different name. But I would do this. So I'll write input, colon, and range. And I would give it the name. I would not give it a name. I would rather give it a class. And all of them will have the same class, which is color slider. You can use any arbitrary name. I have no problem. Neither your computer will have any problem. It's just my habit of keeping things simple. We don't need an ID here. Now I'll write minimum value, which would be 0 for all. Now a maximum value, which would be 255 for R, G, and B. But for A, it would be 0. We would edit it later on. You can do it side by side, but I just prefer to write everything first. So step would be 1 for all of them, except again the exception of A, which is alpha. It requires 0.01 as step. And the value. Now we would put the value as per the value we gave above as the RGBA value, which is 0. And now it's turn for on input. And we'll write the function name that we would declare later on in the JS. I would give the function the name update color. Okay, now escape, and we can simply edit what the value for our exceptional alpha value should be. So let's save it. And this is the entire HTML we require. Like, this is everything that is needed. As you can see, here are the sliders, and here is the RGBA value we gave previously. Now it's time for CSS. And you all would be knowing by now that if I'm writing a CSS file, the first thing I would do is give the properties to a body tag. So margin 0. Padding again 0. And now display, flex, justify, content, center, align item, center, minimum height 100 VH, and transition. Transition is simply that which property you want to change and how much time you want it to take. As we are changing the background color, and I would give it the time of 0.5 seconds. It would be enough. Now let's save it so that I can show you that how that margin, padding, and display has worked. The entire content migrated from that corner to the center. And that was what all this code was. Although this was about making it bigger, which would be working later on. Now I would give the properties for contents. As after the body, it's the contents that is the biggest file. So contents will have width, which would be 100%. Then justify content, center, and align items, again center. You also need to write display block. I'm doing display block because I want all of them to be like a block. Else they would like come in a straight line, which I'm not a big fan of. Now it's turn for our A, B, C, D. We'll give them same properties, so I am doing it all together. You can simply give all of them, like whenever you are doing CSS, if you want to give multiple, I don't know, whatever you are using, the class name or simply the tag name. Okay, I didn't name the ABCD here, but that I remember. So A, B, C, and D. Now save the file. So we are giving them the same properties, so it can be done. So the properties are display, flex, justify content, center. Now we'll give the properties to color slider. And the color slider would have only two properties, although they are of great importance. The first would be its width, that is 80%. You can give it 90 or 70 value, that is of no problem there. It just shows that how big the slider should look like. And I would give it a padding of supposedly 30 pixels. Let's save it and let's see it. As you can see, now it's in the center, they are bigger and they have a more difference in between the sliders, which was due to the padding. Now it's turn for color code, which is our RGBA value this time, but I'm using the same class name as the previous one, as we were using hex codes in that episode. So it needs display flex. Then it needs, obviously, justify content. And then text align. This time we would not be using align items because like there are no items. It's the alone div, and that too, the div only has some text. So it's of no use to use align items there. Now I would give it a color. As we are using black as the background color, I would use white here. And now font size. I would give it 100 pixels so that it looks big and easily readable. And margin top. This isn't that much important, but I'm just doing it. Also, I have a habit of doing this. Sorry, I use the control shift. You need to use control alt again, like the same one we used to define it. I just prefer to keep the divs like this, so that I can check the indentation is correct. So this is how I prefer them to be. I'll also give them some space in between the div names. And that's it. Now the HTML file is actually complete, as well as the CSS file. We need not do anything else. You can't see the color code because it's white. But I can show that it is still there, but yes, you can see the name is color code and it is present here. It's just not visible. So now let's begin the CSS. Pardon. JavaScript. So as I said before, we'll be making a function which will name update color. So in the update color, we need to first create some constants. Or just write it for the first because they have the same properties and they simply represent the values that we will get from the slider A, B, C, and D. So I'll write the first constant to be R equal to document dot query selector all. Then we will write parenthesis, double inverted commas, dot color slider. We are saying that take the value from color slider and don't ask us simply. So that we do not have to manually put some value. Although I may end up creating that one also later on, but not for now. Now write dot value. That take the value from there. And don't ask us. Don't bother us by asking values. You can simply copy paste just like I am doing. Because if you have written the code yourself, you know how it works. So there is no problem in copy pasting. It's not good to copy paste when it isn't even your code. Like you will not understand it until you study it. So here it is done. I mean the constant declaration has been done. I would just call the function even before I complete it. Okay, I made a mistake. Take care as till we are working with HTML, it is good. Even if we end up using uppercase and lowercase elements together. But in languages like JavaScript, Java, C, etc., they are case sensitive. So you need to take care of such things. So we'll write another constant bg color and we'll give it a value using backtick. You may have not heard of it at all, but it is of quite a use in JavaScript. I may even show you that how it looks like. Maybe you can't see it that clearly in the screen. So this is the backtick. Let me show you in the images. Or here is one. You may call it back quote, but they are both in the same direction. And you can see its location here. I would show in a rather zoomed way. You can see, here it is. You can write it without clicking shift. So it is of requirement here. I try to find as many projects that do not require it. Like we should avoid such things that we can't understand currently. Because it's just the beginning. Later on, obviously, I would be making videos utilizing it. But for now, I may try to avoid it. I just wanted to keep working on a fresh topic that I have created in the previous videos. So I just thought that even if I have to use it, there is no such problem. So the next value is G, then is B, and the last value is obviously A. and semicolon. Now we'll need this value. Like I would copy paste it in advance, like not paste it, like copy it in advance, because we'll need it later on as we go ahead. So I'll write document dot body dot bossy. I've write body. Now we'll write style dot background color, and it would obviously equal to BG color. Now I write document dot get element ID by ID. Okay, and we'll use, obviously there is one ID that is unused till now in JS, which is color code. So we'll put double inverted commas color code. Sorry for that, color code, and then we'll write dot text content, so that it only takes the text and doesn't like utilize in any other way that we not even require. So semicolon, and let's save it and check it. As you can see, it is completely working. I would first check all of them individually. Then I may create, suppose I want to create a color that is like this is pink type color, and let's make it, yes, this seems to be a really good color. Like suppose later on I open up a website, I do not like the colors that are being used, and I find out that there is such an option. It would be such an upliftment for the reputation of that website. So even if you do not want to implement it any early, but still knowing about it is quite good. And maybe even if the person does not want to, like, suppose you create a website with the color red, but they do not like the solid red color, so they can simply decrease the value for alpha, and this is quite bland color as compared to this solid red. I may later on create a system where we can simply input the values. Like currently I did the half manually by watching that is the value 0.5, but later on I could create such a system, or we can also control it with the keyboard. Like I am controlling it with the keyboard currently. In case you do not know how you can work with tabs. Maybe I think I should make one change, like decrease the transition time. Here I've put it to 0.5 seconds. Let's make it 0.1 second. Does it change fast? Yes, it does. Now it is quite a lot instantaneous. Like you can see the color transitioning. So this was it for today. Make sure to meet in the next episode. Till then, bye and keep learning.